These are orders from January and February of 2020. Okay, January and February of 2020. January 10th, January 15th. Okay, and what's happened is that every time I filed emergency custody orders in Shasta County, they're denied. So this is from emergency custody order in January 10th, right, for a court hearing, and it's pushed out till the end of the month. It says here, parents to follow 12, 18, 17 court order for visitation. That is split custody. And I have full custody of my oldest son, Jace. And it says Jace is not to be left alone in presence of Jason Lord. Okay? At this time, there's a restraining order filed against Jason. Okay? There's emergency custody orders filed on the 8th, right? This is emergency custody orders right here on the 8th of 2020, all right? The reason why I filed emergency custody orders was because of the restraining order against Jason, right? This is the restraining order against Jason. Notice of hearing for Jace. This is Jason right here, Jason Lord, right? This is the 24th January, right? This is all filed within the past year of 2020, okay? 2020, right? Same thing. Application for order of appointment of guardian ad litem for my son. Temporary restraining order is Jace, and they scratch that out and they put Jacob, and then they put Jace as a party. And this is Jason Lord. This is on January 9th, 2020. Within a few days, all this is filed, okay? And a court hearing. We have a court hearing, and the restraining order against Jason is granted, okay? Now, what was happening is that because One Safe Place is monitoring my phone, an Apex security software company, right? They're monitoring my phone constantly. This group of people, local law enforcement, like corrupt police officers, they're monitoring my phone, okay? And so when I file paperwork on the 10th, right, and I file basically paperwork for a hearing for emergency custody orders, and that Jason's not to be around my kids, right? And Jason's brother is Josh Townsend's a Reading police officer. Okay, they go and file paperwork in Kendra's behalf on the 15th, 2020. Okay, now this is filled out by Kendra's name. All right, this is not her handwriting. That's what I kept telling everybody. I said, I'm looking at this paperwork. I'm like, dude, this is not her handwriting. All this says right here is basically all negative things about me. Extensive criminal history, just got arrested on 2019, just got arrested again, very difficult case, extreme levels of violence and manipulation. Okay, they're saying all those things to control the narrative of this case. And I've been saying that from the very beginning. I said, someone is filing paperwork on her behalf to control the narrative, to control the outcome. Okay, now Kendra, she abducted my kids from Sacramento. She has no other choice but to lie for them, because she was going to go to prison no matter what, right? Like if she got arrested for abduction, she's going to go to prison. And so if they file this paperwork and somebody asks her, hey, did you file this? She's going to say, yeah, yep, I did. It's not her handwriting. You can't file paperwork on somebody else's behalf without their knowledge. You know what I mean? You can't do that. Usually it's an attorney. Okay. So somebody's doing this and it's not her handwriting at all. That is not her signature. And this is definitely not her signature. It looks completely different than all the other signatures that are in the other paperwork. From the one from 2021 and 2022, this is way different. Okay, so who's doing this, right? And the people that are doing it are the ones that don't want to be investigated by federal law enforcement. Okay, and then so when I asked for help from outside authorities, right, in the state attorney general's office, what I meant was like, come and get the paperwork from my house, and I'll show you what's been going on in Shasta County, and I'll show you the paperwork that's filed on her behalf, okay, and what they've been saying about me, all these things that they're saying about me, right? They're all negative, and none of it's true. I've been saying that from the very beginning. None of it's true. They have no evidence or no, you know what I mean, no tangible evidence, no substantial evidence that any of this happened. But they're saying it because they want to control the narrative and the outcome of this case, okay? And I know that it sounds kind of complicated, but it's really not complicated because this is not her signature. And you can't ask Kendra or the judge if this is forged, because why would they admit that? You know what I mean? Why would they admit that this is a forged document from Shasta County Superior Court? But not only that, when I got arrested and I was in jail for a year, they went through the case files and they took these items out. So you can no longer go through the case file and see some of these things. They're taken out now. And that's what the Judge Gibson did. He has access to these files. He has access to this case. So he goes in there and he changes everything to avoid investigation. Okay? This is all January 2020, right? Emergency custody orders, temporary custody orders. I keep filing them because my kids are getting abused over there. It's not rocket science. You know what I mean? It's not rocket science. My kids are getting abused over there. And they're comfortable and safe with dad. So if my kids are going to be interviewed with anybody, it'd be with dad. You know what I mean? Like, because dad's the one that's trying to protect them and get them away from her house. You know, this is a declaration filed on the 11th of 2020. Now, look, the same thing's happening in August of 2021. Dude, this went all year, all January, all 2020, all year. Restraining order, filed paperwork over and over and over again, every month. In June or July of this year, 2020, I dropped the restraining order against Jason. I did that, okay? Because I had full custody of my oldest son, and I basically said, if my other two kids don't get hurt over there, I'll drop the restraining order against you, because he wanted his gun rights. And that was another thing too, is he got issued a restraining order and he was supposed to turn his guns in, and he never did. And that was all recorded and reported to Reading Police Department. Okay, and there was police officers that were tripping about that and calling me and saying, "Wait a minute, this guy didn't turn in his guns. You know what's going on? He has a restraining order, right?" This is filed in August 2021. We've had court dates every month, almost every month for the past like 3 years, right? This is on September 2021, right? And it's talking about my request for order says calendar today regarding father's request for order to child custody visitation and request for contempt of court orders. I'm basically saying that she's in contempt of court orders because when she has the kids, she's dropping them off at her mom's, or she's not letting me talk to them on the phone, right? And so I'm calling and I'm trying to get a hold of my kids when she has them and I can't. And that freaks my kids out every time. It pisses them off. They don't want to live there anymore, okay? And all these orders are being filed constantly, again and again. Look, this is another court date, right? Ruling. This is the ruling for the petition of writ of habeas corpus, right? This was my appeal for this case. I was supposed to have it appealed in 2017, and it never got appealed. And this is a petition of habeas corpus to have the case appealed. And in this petition of writ, it basically said that the case was supposed to be reviewed. All the case files and everything were supposed to be reviewed, and it never happened, because Shasta County knows what's going on in the case files. That's what I'm saying, is like a couple of these judges, or a few of these judges, they know what's going on. Okay, now I'll name them all. You know, like Commissioner Strongberg, Judge Baker, Judge Burgess, Judge Bigelow, Judge Gibson, Judge Summer Ryan, Judge Adam Ryan, Judge Beatty, Judge Kennedy, Judge Flynn. That's a lot of people that are in high places of authority, right? That know what happened to my kids. They're aware of what happened. They're aware of the forged documents in the case files. They're aware that the appeal was supposed to go through, right? And so they're basically avoiding a federal investigation. All right. Here's another court date on September 27th. You know what I mean? We have court dates almost every week. Look at this. We have a court date on the 20th. Okay. Then we have a court date on the 27th. All right. This court date's about proceedings regarding status of therapy and visitation. Like, my kids are already done with therapy at this point. Like, they were done with family dynamics therapy in like June or July of 2021. Okay. These things happen every year, every month, every year since I've been up here. I've filed court orders every month, trying to get my kids away from an abusive person. Okay. This is another emergency custody order. This is a notice for emergency custody order on August 18th, 2021. Okay. Now, why all this is important right now? Why would I bring this up years later? Okay. Well, I've been bringing it up. I brought it up every damn year and every damn month and every damn week since I moved up here. And nobody wants to help me out because the kids were abducted from Sacramento. Nobody wants to help. They don't want to even look at the case files I have or investigate any of this because my kids were abducted. So if the documents in Sacramento County are forged, right, documents, and my kids get moved up here, that's abduction. And then these judges are making legal decisions and they're supposed to be in the best interest of my kids, right? But my kids are crying all the time and they don't want to go to therapy and they don't want to live here and they don't want to live with their moms, right? So the judges are freaking out because they were abducted, right? And I'm trying to go get help for federal law enforcement, and federal law enforcement can't help me because it's not a violation of federal laws. You know what I mean? So it's constant, over and over and over. Well, all the things that happened to me that it happened in Shasta County, I was arrested, I was thrown in jail, the probation report, I was on probation, violation of probation. All these things happened because of this case. And if this case was started or was initiated with forged restraining order paperwork, or even one document that's forged, right? Even the one document that I just showed you that's forged, right? Then this case is criminal. It's a criminal case against them, not me. And they keep trying to put me in jail every year or every month. They sit and basically wait to throw me in jail because they don't want to go to jail themselves. Okay, it's unlawful. It's unlawful. Filed paperwork. It's unlawful to make a decision on illegal filed paperwork. It doesn't make sense. This is the Shasta County District Attorney's Office Investigation Division. Okay, I filed the paperwork for with the District Attorney's Office to have this investigated. This is back in August of 2021. All right, August of 2021. I asked for temporary prevent visitation with children to investigate neglect and abuse and allow children to attend therapy without Kendra controlling the outcome of the case, right? Controlling the outcome of the therapy, right? And I'm asking these things because my kids are getting abused at her house. And my son, Jace, lives with me full time. It says Jackson said one visit for therapy, he didn't go because Kendra had slashed tires. The night before, Jason and Kendra were fighting and woke up, and she said, Jackson said that they had slashed tires. Okay, I get worked up and pissed off about this case because I've been saying these things for 7 years, man. And law enforcement, corrupt police officers that are prostituting women out, they don't want to be investigated. They don't want to go to jail. Everybody involved in this case has something to hide. And I keep asking for help, and I can't get help, man. I can't get federal law enforcement to investigate this because they're not seeing the federal laws that have been violated. Okay, and then not only that, but I haven't talked to any detective or investigator from Shasta County at all about this, any of it. If I make a police report for child abuse or neglect, they go over and they talk to my kids and Kendra, and then they say, okay, nothing happened. Every time. And I've done it multiple times, trust me. Every time I call the district attorney's office, they say the same thing. Nobody has looked at the case files from Sacramento County. Nobody's looked at the emergency custody orders that I had, the original custody orders, none of it. Because they know what happened already. They don't care. Nobody's looked at the evidence that I have against these police officers and judges. They don't care. What they do is they say, okay, they'll say to the state attorney general, okay, we'll investigate, and they'll throw a bunch of other people in jail. And none of these people these corrupt police officers or judges go to jail at all. The district attorney doesn't go to jail. So how do we have this investigated if they're just going to keep, every time there's a witness or a person that has evidence against them, they're just going to throw them in jail and put them in prison. Throw them in jail and keep them in there without adequate representation. And that's what happened to me. I got arrested after my two youngest kids were taken away from me in October. After I filed a complaint against this Judge Gibson, that's basically overseeing this case, I asked for emergency custody orders from the district attorney's office and the court in August and July. And then in October, he takes my two youngest kids away. And I didn't see them. Once you can't talk to your kids and see your kids, or they can't call you or talk to you, that's abduction. And why didn't they get arrested then? Like, why didn't Kendra and Jason get arrested then in October? And then wait 6 months of trauma and terror and terrorizing us and torturing us until February, they file a restraining order against me and then take my oldest son away. And then he comes up missing. And then March, I get arrested and I get thrown in jail for a year. And I literally was in jail for a year without, just sitting in there without representation. And they planned on putting me in prison because I was trying to get help outside the county. Thank you. God bless.